Well, welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Baston, all alone yet again as Juggler is still off the island. But today we're going to be talking golf, cricket, football, and much, much more after this message from our sponsor.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, today, Bermuda have a new cricket president. Lloyd Smith was elected last evening at the Bermuda Cricket Board's AGM, beating out Gershon Gibbons 5-8. We got a chance to speak with Smith immediately following the elections. Success tonight. You're the new president of the Bermuda Cricket Board. Obviously, there's a lot discussed in the room, but what would you consider your first order of business starting now?
Well, I guess, like you said, it was a lot discussed this evening in the room. A lot of issues with finances and the reporting, and what actually gets reported to the clubs. So that's going to be our first thing, because so we can get back to the clubs as soon as possible with a more detailed financial report. So hopefully in the new year, that was one of our first things that we'll be doing. So that's the number one thing on the priority right now. And then, like I said, is having some meetings with the executive and find out exactly where we are, and then moving on from there.
Well, obviously, you come in, you take the helm, you've had meetings with clubs. Were you satisfied with an 8-5 decision?
Actually, I was. That was pretty much what I was hoping for. You go around, you talk to clubs, you give them your presentation, and you hope for the best. You know what I mean? You hope that your presentation is just a little bit better than the other guy. And tonight it showed that my presentation was a little better. So I'm pleased with the result.
Whenever you have elections, there's always some people for, some people against. But how do you unify the Bermuda Cricket Board affiliates to make sure that now it's more of a unified group going forward?
Well, just listen to the affiliates inside. A lot of them have issues with how our finances being reported to them. So right off the bat, like I said, I'm gonna try to get the finances reported to them as soon as possible with the updates of what they want, as well as also having regular meetings with the affiliates, because then we wouldn't be in the stage where we are tonight, where the information it's been all year before they get it, and then when they get it, they want to sit and talk a long time because they don't understand exactly what's going on. So I hope having regular meetings, at least quarterly meetings, will ease up the affiliates and what the concerns are.
Did you have any doubts once the meeting had started about when you were starting to hear the club's issues? You probably already heard them, but collectively you start hearing everybody's issues about finances, about the running of the sport itself. Did you ever have any doubt about taking up the position?
No, I didn't, because this is pretty much the things that I knew was going on by what I heard on being on the outside and going around to the clubs. You had the same thing from pretty much the same clubs that was inside talking about the finances. So I knew that was one of the major concerns, so I wasn't surprised. All right,
well, congratulations. The job has just begun.
Yes, job's just begun. A lot of work ahead, and it's not easy. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping I've got a couple new changes on the executive. So hopefully, we can get the ball rolling as soon as possible and get some changes done and improve cricket in Bermuda.
Earlier today at Devonshire Recreation Club, members of the Devonshire Recreation Club, along with family and friends, and officials from the Somerset Cricket Club, presented Malachi Jones with the Pacer Edwards Trophy for the best fast bowler in cup match for the Somerset Cricket Club. Making the presentation was Edwards' daughter.
On behalf of my father, Anthony Edwards, I would like to present this trophy to Malachi Jones for getting the most wickets in cup match with the best average. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd just like to thank the family on the hill for donating this award for Somerset Cricket Club and the future winners in the future to come. Thanks.
No. We're good. Thank you, sir. Cheers.
Ready? You gotta put it right. Okay, thank you.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you'll get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
We are into day 3 of the Goslings Invitational Golf Tournament. The first 2 days was held at the Port Royal Golf Course, with today's round at the Belmont Hills. Yesterday, we got a chance to speak with the overnight leader in Daniel Gunt from England and Bermuda's first round leader, Nick Jones. Daniel, 2 good rounds, 2 under pars. Does the golf course suit your style?
It didn't today, no. Yeah, no, it's really nice. I've enjoyed every minute of being over here. Obviously, I've played some good golf as well, but we've got 2 more days to go. There's plenty of golf to be played, so there's no got good players here, so I've got to keep on my game.
Does nights get restless when you're leading a tournament after and knowing it's 2 days to go?
Not really, no.
You're in Bermuda, so
I'm just enjoying it because I'm now working. I'm not a golfer anymore, so I've got to go back and do some greenkeeping when I get back. So it's just a game of golf. And
is this your first time? Is this your first time here at the Goslings?
Yeah, first time. Hopefully a few more times I'll be able to come over. It's great.
How did you hear about it, and what made you decide this was the place to come?
Through tournaments back home in the UK, the TP Tour. I won the Order of Merit, which gave me the right to, they give me all expenses paid to come and play. So I couldn't knock back the opportunity. So it's been a great opportunity. TP Tour back home's fantastic. Mini tours that we play, and it gives us a chance to come away and play in the sun during the winter.
Compare your 2 rounds: 5 under par first day, 3 the second.
2 today. 5 under yesterday was as solid as I've played for a long time. Putted really well. Hold the par putts when I needed to. Today was just everything was just I was just steering it round. I don't know what was going on. So it was just lack of commitment on nearly every shot today. So I just had a good run of 3 good putts on the front 9, made some birdies, and just I don't know how I kept it out of trouble, but I did, and I bogeyed the last, which really annoyed me.
Well, good luck over the next 2 days, and we'll see how you make out for the rest of the tournament.
Thank you.
Okay, well, Nick, yesterday +1, today another +1. You've been quiet over these last few years playing golf, but are you pleased with your game coming together for this week?
Yeah, definitely. I've been practicing again. I'm finally getting back into it. I'm still working, and I'm getting the days off now, so I can get back to playing and hopefully keep going and playing better.
How long has it taken you to get that feel back, to get that hunger back? Because it's a sport you love.
Yeah, love it. And my dad, he taught me since I was 3 years old, and I miss it. And it's I took a break for a little while, but now I'm definitely getting that hunger back. So it's probably been about 2 years since I get that hunger back.
Were you surprised at the leaderboard yesterday? You were the leader of the Bermudians, tied right up there, needing someone to slip up. But were you surprised?
Yeah, I was surprised. I was low Bermudian. Because I played with the leader, and he shot 5 under yesterday, and I thought I was playing bad. I was like, because I got beat by 6 shots, but tied 5th at the moment, so should be pretty good, and hopefully I can play. I love Belmont, so hopefully I can get Belmont play well.
You finished early today, so you got a chance to sit back and watch the scores come in. Where would you hope to be at the end of today, realistically at the end of today?
Sure. I would love. I'm pretty far behind the leader, but Belmont's a whole different day. But I'd love to be top 4, top 5. I should be okay, and hopefully can make some money.
Now the weather's supposed to change a little bit. Does that go into your favor at Belmont? You say you love Belmont, but does kind of rainy, cold weather benefit you?
It does actually. I hit the ball quite low, so my putting's pretty good right now. So I'm looking forward to Belmont, and maybe some of these guys will, struggle. Yeah, come back to me. Hopefully I can keep going forward.
All right. Well, congratulations and good luck over the next 2 days.
Thank you very much.
Bermuda Olympian Patrick Singleton is a member of the IOC Athletics Commission. Recently, he has been abroad attending meetings. Patrick Singleton, an executive of the World Olympian Association, just recently it was released of a 3-letter code for Olympians. I'm not going to call them former Olympians. I'm going to call them Olympians. Explain to us what that entails, because it was a brainchild of yours that has come to reality.
Right. It's taken a while. I created it in 2013. It's OLY. The idea is a post-nominal letter, like a certificate, a designation for Olympians. These athletes have worked for most of their young lives to perfect their sport, and we thought that they should be recognized like you would, say, a Bachelor of Arts or MBA or maybe even a PhD. So OLY can be used after your name on a CV or resume or a business card, and it's a simple thing, but it carries a lot of it carries recognition of your athletic achievement, and Olympians can register by going onto our website olympians.org, and you fill in your details, and you can get it. Now we expect that Olympians uphold the values that the Olympics are about, and just as this certificate, this designation can be given, it can be taken away. So if you're found guilty of doping violation, or if you're not upholding the right Olympian values in life, that it can be removed.
Now, there's a good thing you said doping, because that's been a hot topic of meetings that you attended just over a week ago. Can you give us some details on some of the things that went around that WADA meeting, as well as Russians being banned left, right, and center?
You're putting me on the spot here. I have to be a little careful what I say. So you're right, I was at the WADA Foundation Board meeting in Seoul on Thursday, and there were a number of issues that came up. RUSADA, the Russian anti-doping agency, has not received its designation again, and Russians are not happy about that. So they sent their deputy PM and their sports minister and some other officials, and they didn't like the result. But they've got to acknowledge the McLaren report, and they have to give us the files from the Moscow lab in order for us to look at certifying them.
Now, that's a tall order, because they have a lot of eyes outside of Russia looking at this. How much pressure do you feel it's on this group of people that's got to decide whether or not these athletes will be permitted into the Winter Olympic Games come 2 months' time?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure applied, and we're seeing yesterday that 4 skeleton athletes were disqualified by the IOC Disciplinary Commission, one of whom is from the IOC-AC, the disciplinary members. So, and there are going to be more cases. There's some cases being held today, and there'll be more throughout the rest of the year. And you're going to see the IOC have a very important meeting in 2 weeks' time to decide Russia's future at the Pyeongchang Olympic Games coming up in February. There's a lot to play for, and it's a very complicated situation with the Russian intelligence agency, the FSB, and the swapping of samples. And so I was deputized by the IOC president and the IOC executive board to go and represent them at the WADA Foundation board meeting, and it certainly was eye-opening. Yeah.
When you were competing at that level and at the Olympics, did you get a sense of this was what was going on, or did you look at another athlete and say, I think maybe could be?
I think as sport evolves and grows, and you get more and more money into it, and nation states see it as a status symbol, it's going to continue to get worse. And doping has been a problem. I mean, Thomas Bach, the IOC president, said ever since he was a young athlete, and I mean, Plato talked about it, when he was around 3,000 years ago. So it's something that is a problem. There are a number of problems in the Olympic movement and sport. Doping is just one of them. It's probably the biggest, but then we've got sexual abuse and harassment of athletes, the protection of athletes. So there and coming increasingly more and more is match fixing and manipulation of matches. So there's a whole lot of things that are out there that we have to solve, and we don't always have the answers to solve these problems.
Now, some of these decision makers for these rules and rule breakers is done by people doing it part-time. Like yourself, you're heavily involved in decision making, in making decisions, in sending out decisions and rulings and so forth. Could you see the IOC moving to full-time people having to deal with these situations because there's so many popping up?
Well, they do. I mean, the IOC has a full-time administrative staff, and WADA has its staff. They send, we would be considered sports politicians, perhaps, and they send us as IOC athlete representatives to have a position on the board to represent the athletes and to represent the IOC. But make no mistake, they have the top sports lawyers in the world, the top sports administrators in the world working on this, both from the IOC side and WADA and governments and national federations. There's a lot of people involved in this.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, we just saw this past week, North Korea, South Korea. You were in South Korea just recently.
Yes.
There's been a lot of talk about some nations thinking about not attending the Winter Olympics because of safety reasons. What was your sense of calming there and hearing it from the South Koreans?
Right. So I used to cover North Korea for a Japanese newspaper, and I was in South Korea for the WADA Foundation Board meeting, as you mentioned. South Korea is a pretty strong and stable country. In fact, I was at the IOC headquarters before going to Korea, where we received a security briefing from their top security analysts. And the IOC president went to the United Nations last week, Monday, and got a resolution that protects athletes traveling to and from the games and at the games, and it was signed by all the parties. So North Korea, South Korea, Russia, China, Japan, US. So we think that's going to be very safe. The security briefing actually reckons that the Korean Olympic Games, the South Korean Olympic Games, will be the safest for a long time. South Korea has a very large standing army. They're very good at this, and it isn't likely that North Korea is going to launch an attack on South Korea. There are warning signs that would happen, and the IOC has really great analysts looking at this. So we don't anticipate anything bad happening. I mean, the KOSPI is very strong. That's the Korean Stock Exchange. You would see embassies removing their staff. You would see military mobilizing. There would be a whole lot of indicators, and we just don't see that at the moment.
Well, with the unstableness right now of USA and North Korea, that going on and on and on, was there any discussion about those two countries, not necessarily the games itself, but those two countries affecting the games?
Sure. I mean, if you look, the U.S. president just went to the demilitarized zone a couple weeks ago. I mean, that sends a pretty strong message. If you're going to have a war, you're not likely to visit the country that's going to be attacked. So the IOC doesn't see an elevated threat level. Now, there's a lot of stuff in the media, and the media likes to spin things certain ways to sell newspapers and watch TV shows. But I think there would be other triggers and other indicators that you would see. And North Korea signed the charter at the United Nations a few weeks ago, or last Monday. So, I mean, it's we don't anticipate there being issues. Now, having said that, if there are problems, the IOC has a very, very good contingency plan to get athletes out, and there are, South Korea has the best series of underground bunkers in the world for its population, right? So they're already there. So I'm not concerned, as I wasn't concerned for the Sochi Olympic Games, which, by the way, is on the border of Chechnya, right, which one of the world's hotspots. And I was asked the same question, 4 years ago, and look at Sochi, there wasn't any problems there.
Now, you're off to a meeting this weekend to deal with more issues. What are you expecting comes out of these meetings heading into your meeting 2 weeks down the road?
Who knows? I would say that the big meeting to watch out for will be the IOC Executive Board meeting on December the 5th, when they look at the Oswald Commission and the Schmidt Commission, which are looking at the systematic doping of the Sochi Olympic Games by the Russian intelligence services, and that's going to be, decide whether Russia is allowed into the games or not. And Russia has been saying that they could boycott and they could do certain things. So we just have to wait to see what the IOC Executive Board and the IOC President decides. And I wouldn't want to be in that position. It's really tough. I mean, how do you stop state-sanctioned doping? I mean, if the intelligence services want to do it, pretty hard for the sports organizations to stop that. We're not equipped to deal with that.
The Bermuda Football Association's president, Mark Wade, sat down with Islandstats.com to talk about the changes he's made to committees around the BFA. Well, Mark Wade, there's been some changes in the administration of the Bermuda Football Association as far as the executive and chairmen of different positions. Can you enlighten us on what changes have been made?
Sure. Well, first of all, I did speak with the at the semi-annual Congress about making changes, or cabinet shuffle is what we termed it, just to keep people rejuvenated and keep people engaged. And so we just had a look at all of the committees and thought, where did we need people? What's coming up in the strategic plan for year 2018? And made some strategic changes. So first and foremost, we had David Sabur now heads up our marketing team. And that particularly was to have a daily eye on marketing and telling our story. Shaquita Parsons goes back to security, because I think we've actually neglected our clubs over the last couple of years. You'll recall some years ago we gave all the clubs a security package that included vests and wands and the like. So we're a few years on, and I think we need to have another look at this particular things, and even the security protocols at clubs. It's a position that Shaquita's had before, so I brought some experience back to that area. We have Manny Ferrer, who's now the chairman of the youth leagues. He has a lot of experience within Bermuda School Sports Federation and running competitions, and it was an area that he was certainly interested in, because he was a deputy chair of competitions prior. So we moved him into youth committee. Troy Lewis moves into infrastructure. We have some developments that we'd like to see, and we'll wait for the committee to finalize what those developments are. I think he and Stuart Crock will have some specific skill sets in development and in construction, planning and drawings, and those two should really produce some really good things for us. Anthony Francis comes off of committees. As you know, we have a very good referee program going on right now, and as the fitness instructor, I thought that he needed more time to be able to commit to instructing, and then so we removed him from any committee so that he could focus on that work. So that's kind of the gist of it, really. Competitions remains the same. Women's, Sharice Bean is now the women's chairman. Shaquita's the deputy, and I think we're gonna really push on with all this subtle changes. So it's really good, really good.
Do you see those changes already igniting those people in getting new ideas into those into those different committees?
Absolutely. The enthusiasm for the changes was immediate, really, and they really kind of jumped into the rules. So it's and we now have to put the resources behind the committees to make sure that the work gets done. I mean, committee work is what the BFA does. Volunteers get together and they do this work. It's sometimes thankless, but rewarding all at the same time. And without our committees, I think the BFA would cease to exist, and without the volunteer cadre that we have. So it's fantastic.
2 days ago, fantastic news for the Bermuda Football Association, referees and the like, with Deshaun Simons getting the message that he will be on the FIFA referee assistant list for 2018. Must be a good time for the association.
Listen, to be honest, when I got that call, I was a bit speechless, because not having a referee on the FIFA list almost seemed like the norm for so long, and having too few officials seemed the norm for us. But to be in this position and to see Tashawn battle through a lot of challenges that he was having, and really push on to get to where he is fantastic. It honestly took me a little while to really absorb, that we actually achieved this, and we talk all the time. I do a lot of ribbing of both him and Antoine, and I had to pause and tell him, listen, I do say a lot of things, but you guys really have made me proud. Because even Antoine stuck in there and they pushed each other. Antoine continued to work and try and make sure that they both got there. Antoine fell just short. He's still committed to having a go of it again, and they'll push each other. In our executive meeting last night, I just said to the referee chairman, who, to be honest, has been phenomenal, that okay, that goal's been reached. The party's over. We got to move on. And the next thing is that we need a team of 4, so that they travel together as a team and they do World Cup matches. So it's we're recovered now. We're recovered now. Yes, we had a bit of a celebration. The referee chairman, yes, he admitted that he was emotional, and so was Tashawn. But we move on. We got a new goal now, and the goal is to get 4 officials, and we have identified some individuals, both male and female, and we're really looking forward to 2018, 2019.
I noticed you didn't change the referee chairman.
No, sir. No, sir. The referee chairman is doing a fantastic job here in this committee, in terms of recruitment, in terms of getting officials ready, and that's not something that I didn't see the point of a change at that point. He tends to volunteer people. I volunteered him that's you're not moving.
Right. He's one of those go-getters. You're talking about your
Yes.
And I know now you've given him a new task. He's one of those people, he wants it done immediately. But what time frame are we talking about to accomplish such a feat of having 4 people? Because it's a struggle to get to 1. And we know how long it took to get that 1. So now we're looking at 4, both male and female. What time frame are you looking at?
That's gonna take a while. I think because there's a question of age for starters. So a couple of the people that we have identified are underage at the moment. They have to be 21 to actually go to the under 15 championships. So that's gonna take time for them to age into availability and eligibility. So if I hazard a guess, we're probably looking at 2019, 2020. So we may get 1 more in 2018, and then maybe another 2 in 2019 is the idea. But the work is Tashawn's got to stay there as well. So while we're getting more people on the list, we have to maintain the one that we do have. So it's a watershed moment. The things that we take for granted sometimes are amazing, but we're happy.
You recently returned from a Concacaf meeting?
President's meeting and a CFU Extraordinary Congress.
Right.
Yes.
Outside of the Caribbean League, what are some of the interesting things that came up in that meeting? Because everybody saw the Caribbean League, you just had to kind of rubber stamp that one. That's been in talks for a while.
Yeah.
But what else came out of that?
We have Concacaf rebranding, so you'll see some different marketing going on. We also had a report from all of the legal action that's been happening around the DOJ and Concacaf's transversing through that, which was eye-opening in itself. But it's actually satisfying to see that we've come a long way. We've seen some people go. Some people go to jail, but I think we're on good footing at the moment, and we're just looking to see through the rest of the DOJ legal action, and then the Concacaf Council is really looking for damages, and how do we get those damages if we get those damages. So and as well as the CFU Congress was really dominated by the financials. In St. Kitts earlier this year, the financials weren't ready, so we had to have an extraordinary Congress to view the financials, get a report, read over the report from the auditors, and then also approve next year's budget, and also approve the auditors. So that's what dominated the CFU Extraordinary Congress.
In the CFU, not only the country, but in the CFU where we tend to look and measure ourselves, and then we go to Concacaf. But in the CFU, what are the talks like as far as getting more home and away matches amongst ourselves to kind of make us stronger? So when we enter the Concacaf tournament, and I'm talking from under 13 right through to seniors, both male and female. Mm-hmm. What are those talks like, or are there any talks of that? And Bermuda in such a hard proximity.
Sure. The conversation that's happening right now is how do we reduce airfares? We have started to talk about our own airline, chartering airlines in some way so that we can reduce the airfares and then be able to obviously play more matches. You would know that through in the Gold Cup, they travel on airlines. Around to different cities, so that's a model that we're looking at, and also getting some advice from Concacaf on how that really works. That Caribbean countries have visa problems traveling to the U.S., so this would alleviate a lot of this stuff. So that's a big conversation right now. How can we reduce airfares, and maybe chartering an airline or leasing an airline is one way of doing it.
And that's in the CFU?
That's in the CFU,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. And those were the major topics that were
coming out? Those are the major topics that came out of it, yeah.
Do we have any international plans in the immediate future? We know about June, we know about April with Nicaragua, we know about having to go to Barbados, but anything else on the horizon that people should be really looking out for?
Well, I mean, you named them all off, to be honest. Nicaragua's a big one. We've got a plan for our girls and getting them ready for what is the biggest test of their lives. So we're going to enact that plan, put the resources behind it. So we certainly be going out into the corporate community and to the community at large for support for our girls. The senior team preparation continues, so we'll try and strategically find matches in March, and then certainly June we're hopefully looking to have a camp and play some matches as well. We'll probably stay away from the July window because that's preseason for a lot of our local players and certainly the pros, and then we'll be ready for the Concacaf Shield, which starts in September.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you'll get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
And that's it from the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Basden. Do enjoy the rest of your night.